Welcome to Picture Alaska, the 2024 edition. This is a chance for us to share with Alaska many of the great photos and videos that you've sent in over the past 12 months.
To give you an idea of what we're talking about, we received more than 2,000 photos and videos this year alone.
Now, we do our best to show these off during our newscast, but when you see them all together, it just hits you how beautiful and amazing our state really is.
And that we have incredible photographers in Alaska that can capture that specific moment or even that one-of-a-kind shot.
From bears to birds to seals bothering birds, we've got some great videos this year. You'll want to stick around for the slow motion moose fight.
And I can't wait. So it means we should probably get started, right? Who wants to go first?
Oh,
Okay, Jackie and Robert, why don't you start us off?
all right. It's so much fun to look back at some of the best videos of the year.
Exactly, and some of our favorites are when animals show up in places, well, they really shouldn't be.
Like this guy just wandering through the backyard and, well, decides to do a little exploring.
No, he didn't.
I'm impressed at how easily she opened that door. But what I love is Chanda Knudsen, who sent us this video, realizes she'd better let someone know so they aren't surprised when they step outside.
I gotta call Brenda.
You ever want something off the top shelf like a snack and you just can't reach it?
No, never.
Well, whatever. For those of us who are slightly height challenged, we can kind of relate to this bear. He is close, so close, to getting his paws on that porcupine.
The bear is quite determined, but so is the porcupine. I'm sorry, that's not a very big tree to be clinging to. What do you think? Fight between a porcupine and bear, who wins?
Well, that is an excellent question. Tracy Sinclair spoke with Corey Stantorf, the area biologist for Anchorage, and asked that very same thing.
So we watched that video of the bear kind of swatting at the porcupine. Not something I expected to see, I guess. I think of bears eating nuts and smaller creatures at this point. Is this something that's typical?
You know, bears are opportunistic. They're also curious. Porcupines have their own distinct smell, so that smell can trigger curiosity in the bear, so they test it just like we do. They kind of paw at it, sniff at it. Usually ends up with the porcupine hitting the bear with some quills, but they do and will feed on porcupines. It is a meat that they enjoy.
The porcupine video, we didn't see the end of it. Any idea, any guess, do you think the porcupine survived?
I'm going to venture to guess it did.
Really? You think it did? I was thinking you were going to tell me, no, the bear probably got it.
I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to porcupine. They're not an easy meal.
Well, there you have it. Sounds like the porcupine walks away.
One of the cool things about living in Anchorage is the bike trails, but sometimes you have to remember to share the road. Terrence Butler caught up with this fellow wandering down the bike path near the Boniface Gate entrance to Jay Bear. Now, there's a joke here somewhere about a bear in a plane. I just don't know what it is. And Terrence Butler sent us this video as well. There are 4 black bears. Despite what it looks like, they are all black bears. Corey Stantorf says it's not really that unusual.
So black bears range in color from a white spirit bear all the way to jet black and everything in between. So we've seen cinnamon phase bears, which are brown in color, their fur, to glacier bears that are bluish in color. So they just come in different colors.
Let's turn our attention to the ocean and some of the biggest creatures out there, the humpback whale.
Oh my God.
Steve Hill sent us this video, and you can see just a hint of the whale when he first starts recording. And what I love about this video is his reaction. It's exactly how I would react if I was in the same situation. And then we get a better view and see just how big that whale is. Very cool.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This is a really interesting and fun video sent to us by Matt Boyd. They were on the water near Anchor Point, and well, some of the orcas seemed interested in the halibut they'd recently caught. It almost looks like giant bait for the orcas, but of course, Matt wanted to keep the halibut. They pull the fish back inside the boat but the orcas stick around for a while.
Oh my gosh, it's following us. Oh, there's the other one.
So amazing. And then once the halibut is out of the water, the orcas just turn around and leave.
And this is another close encounter, maybe a little too close. A pod of orcas decided to check out Saffron Hayes on his paddleboard. He was in the waters near Lena Point, about 14 miles northwest of Juneau. He said he spotted the orca pod and worked to get a closer look while still keeping his distance. He says he was in about 10 feet of water when he noticed one of the whales got curious about him too. Really amazing video and a little bit scary as well.
That was so amazing, but we are nowhere near done.
Yeah, we've got birds, we've got ice fishing, Aurora. I mean, not all in the same video, but separate. We have that and much more.
We'll be right back, but first, a few of our fave photos from 2024.
Welcome back to Picture Alaska, the 2024 edition. It's a chance for us to look back at some of the best photos and videos that our viewers have sent us in the past year.
But you don't have to wait until the end of the year to see some amazing photos and videos. Every week, I do a mini version of Picture Alaska where you can catch up on some of the best photos and videos all year long, like this next one.
You know, when you think of the bald eagle, the symbol of our country, it's bold and majestic.
It's also a scavenger. I'm just saying they are opportunistic eaters. Yes, they will hunt, but they'll also eat what they can find, and they'll steal food from other birds.
Well, this is an encounter that's unexpected and pretty amazing. Now, that was pretty quick, so let's play it again and stop right there. That sea lion almost got a good grip on those tail feathers.
And that eagle was not happy, rightly so.
Speaking of our feathered friends, let's check out this majestic creature, the spruce grouse from Denali National Park. The males, as this one is, they look remarkably like their more domesticated relative, the chicken.
You almost want to say he's as proud as a peacock, but I think this fella has a bit more swag than a peacock.
Oh, yeah?
Well, you can tell by the way I move my walk. Well, look, the guy, you can see it totally. You can see it.
Now that song's going to be stuck in my head.
Staying alive, staying alive. You got it, you got
We
it.
got it.
And downriver of McGrath, Tom Parker caught some serene video of a couple of loons. Loons make a variety of different sounds, and they each mean something different. Loon biologist Jeff Fair watched the video to help us understand what we're hearing.
There's two loons, and they look like a territorial pair to me. And loons are very territorial by the pair. They protect their territories from other loons and sometimes even from other birds. They have two calls that you're hearing here. One is the tremolos, the quavering one, when they get a little bit excited about something, whether it's positive or negative, like if a strange loon flies over their territory or something like that, they do the tremolo. And then after that, you hear almost as part of a tremolo, but a couple of times you hear one would equate to a coyote's howl. It's called the wail.
Let's turn to some of the bigger birds around Alaska, the sandhill crane with their 6-foot wingspan. Sandhill cranes migrate to Alaska every summer to their breeding grounds. But before they can do that, they've got to pair up.
Geraldine Sharkey sent us this video of two cranes doing their courtship dance. Mated cranes stay together year-round. Biologists believe that cranes mate for life.
There are two populations of cranes that come to Alaska every year. The mid-continent population numbers close to 500,000 birds. These birds nest across Canada, interior Alaska, and the eastern Siberia.
The Pacific Flyway population is much smaller, about 25,000 birds. The Pacific Flyway cranes nest further south, mainly along Bristol Bay and the Alaska Peninsula, Kodiak Island, and around Cook Inlet. And from some of the biggest birds in Alaska to some of the smallest, redpolls. Gina Parks sent us this video of redpolls feeding in Eagle River.
The Alaska Department of Fish and Game says redpolls are abundant year-round and they can survive extremely cold temperatures. They often sleep in snow tunnels to preserve body heat. They will also fluff their contour feathers to create an insulating layer of air to help them stay warm. And they're pretty dang cute, too. Now, of course, we don't have just amazing animals in our state. We have amazing people as well doing fun things.
And sometimes they send us video of them doing cool things. This came from Pierre Lone Wolf out of Kotzebue. He originally sent it as a slow-mo clip, but we sped it up just a little bit.
They are so close to pulling that fish out of the ice when the hook slips out.
Take a look at the quick reaction from this young man. He springs forward, grabs the fish, and another comes with the hook.
Even more impressive, check out the size of that fish. Good job and congrats on the amazing catch. And Matthew Nikolai sent us this video from Queequeg Subsistence Camp. Mrs. Guy is tying up the king salmon for hanging before smoking, and Sarge Guy hanging the fish in the smokehouse.
And sometimes you just need a little fun. Clarence Summers sent us this video of wakeboarding on Big Lake. Pretty impressive. It almost looks tropical.
When we come back, our favorite ungulates take center stage, from cute and adorable to a little bit frightening.
But first, here are some of our favorite photos from the year that was.
Welcome back. Now, it's not uncommon for Alaskans to see moose, but really, this is a case of, I don't think this is where you're supposed to be.
This curious moose decided to check out the inside of a car, finds the steering wheel quite fascinating, and while the nosy one seems interested, I'm not really sure how you get her to leave. Maybe a boop on the snoot?
But before they get that big, they start off like this. I'm talking about the cute little guy on the right. Tanny Walker caught video of a cow and a calf trotting down the road in Anchorage. The young one seems to know the safest place is right next to mom. And this is your double dose of, aw, twin calves hanging out in the backyard. Alex Dushkin sent us this very sweet video. I don't know, I need more cute in my life. Let's watch that again. Yep, still cute. And I think we have time for one more. This is interesting because the young one is playing in the sprinkler. Mom is drinking from it. It almost looks like she's using it as a water pick. That's one thirsty moose.
Now, the moose are adorable when they are young and pretty dang cute when they grow up, but we have to remember they are wild animals and they are big. Speaking of the wild part, you don't want to get caught between these two. Dale Walther caught video of two bull moose having an epic battle in front of his house. And while it looks like the guy with the full rack is winning, the one missing half an antler finds the strength and pushes back, even getting his opponent to the ground. Once the defeated moose gets back to his feet, the winner lets him know it's time to get out of the neighborhood. We've got another moose fight, sort of. These two seem to be fighting less for dominance and more for some yummy snacks. The moose on the right pushes enough to get his opponent out of the way and immediately turns and goes back to nibbling on those berries. And clearly it wasn't that much of a rivalry because moments later, the other moose just takes his place on the other side of the tree.
So we had an intense battle.
A more subtle fight for snacking rights.
Now this one, not quite as intense, a little more destructive. At first, you think this is just a bull moose kind of tearing up at an opening in the fence.
Then you realize, no, there's another bull moose on the other side. It's like a slow motion fight. Look at the close-up of that guy. Feels like something out of a scary movie. I'm sorry.
And yeah, good thing Michelle Kopp has the video because this is going to be a little bit difficult to explain to the insurance company. Now, this video is cool, but a little bit scary. Just a reminder of how big these creatures really are and how fast. Douglas Schaffer sent us this video. The driver is backing up and pulling forward just readjusting the car on the driveway when whoosh!
They went in the garage.
Alaska is a huge place and we can't be everywhere,
So sometimes we do have to rely on you to bring us breaking weather news.
which is very much appreciated. If you are in the midst of a storm but in a safe spot and willing to take some video or pictures, it is so helpful.
It is. And we have had plenty of storms, major storms this winter, particularly in western Alaska.
I want to show you this fascinating impact from the storm. It's called an ice shove, and it's created when strong winds push the ice right on shore. The ice really has nowhere to go except to pile up. You can see in this clip, more and more ice is being pushed on shore from the other side, causing those huge ice chunks to just tumble down.
In October, western Alaska got hit with a major winter storm that brought high winds, rain, and flooding. The ocean was raging just offshore of Shishmaref. Edwina sent us that video. Now, Shishmaref, of course, one of the many locations in western Alaska being impacted by coastal erosion and a shrinking landmass. These October storms are part of what's causing that erosion.
Arnold Chennault sent us this video from Gamble. High surf, strong winds, and blowing snow. And here is that same storm a little farther north. Lance Kramer sent us a couple videos that really show how bad that flooding got in Kotzebue. People walking in that cold water that's up to the top of their legs.
And when you need a little help, sometimes you have to get creative. This video from Betty Mae Kingiak shows some folks getting evacuated from their homes by means of a bulldozer. Probably wasn't a comfortable ride, but you do what you need to do in these kinds of situations. South Central also saw several strong storms like in Homer.
Yeah, mid-November, high winds generated huge waves and a high surf. The waves not only along the shoreline, but at times over the road and into several businesses. Though some buildings were already constructed on stilts, these waves took out stairs, chunks of pavement, and even a small building.
It pushed the deck 2 to 3 feet away from the structure. So here's a good example. Right there is the deck. Used to be the entrance to our shop over here. Oh, right there. And it just totally blew out the deck boards there, as well as the staircase used to be attached over here.
And another example of the power and force of nature, check out this roof avalanche sent to us by Andrew Knowles.
All that snow falling off in one big slab. It's a good thing no one was standing there because that's a lot of weight with a lot of force coming down.
But of course, snow doesn't have to be destructive. I like to sit and watch softly falling snow. Wait a minute, that's not snow.
It's cottonwood fluff. Now, we've all seen it, maybe even been a little annoyed by it, but we were curious. So meteorologist Tracy Sinclair talked with Stephen Nickel with the Alaska Division of Forestry about what we're seeing here.
The fluff is actually the seed, and it's actually on a little parachute, and it's released from the female tree. This fluff or that parachute allows the seeds to hang in the air and get blown around until they drop out of the air column, and usually some distance from the tree. It's one of the dispersal mechanisms of the cottonwood.
When we come back, we are looking up.
Yeah, I know they say space is a vacuum, but Alaska skies are quite busy.
But first, here are some of our favorite photos from this past year.
And now we come to my favorite portion of the show, looking to the skies. And we're not just talking about the Aurora, though we've got that as well. Being in the north, we not only have the best chances of seeing the Aurora, but other atmospheric phenomena that they really don't get in the southern skies. Sundogs, or more scientifically, perihelia, are an optical phenomena that are created when sunlight passes through ice crystals, typically found inside cirrus clouds. Visible light is simply electromagnetic radiation at wavelengths we can't see. Each color of the rainbow has its own wavelength. When light passes through ice crystals, which in this case are shaped like hexagonal prisms, the light enters one side and then is bent as it passes through the other side. This separates the light into the individual wavelengths, revealing each color separately, which then appear at a deviated location roughly 22 degrees on either side of the sun. If you look closely, you'll notice the colors go from red near the sun to blue outside the sundog. That's because the red wavelength is bent at a slightly smaller angle than the blue is. Some other light arcs you might see are the periarc, a perihelic circle, and a full halo. They are all formed in basically the same fashion as sundogs, but the shape of the ice crystal and which face gets hit by the light causes the kind of halo we see. The periarc was first identified in 1820 by Sir William Edward Parry during one of his Arctic expeditions in search for the Northwest Passage.
And in our night sky during the late fall of 2024, comet Tsuchinshan Atlas. Just as it was nearing its brightest, many parts of Alaska happen to have clear skies, and we got almost 24 photos of it transiting Alaska skies. When a comet approaches the sun, it gets warmer, and that heat causes its ice to sublimate into gas. And this gas and dust become a glowing coma and tail that can extend millions of miles. This is a very rare sighting for this comet. Originally, it was thought comet Tsuchinshan Atlas wouldn't return to the inner solar system for approximately 80,000 years. But now, NASA says, based on newly available data, the comet's path might take it out of our solar system altogether.
Moving from rocks, dust, and ice to the moving lights in the sky, of course, the Aurora, my favorite part of the show.
And we're going to start in the southeast in Hoonah. Just a great video from Eliana Elliott. Beautiful lights, not only in the sky, but it's cool to watch the cars along the road as well.
One of these days, I want to see an aurora like this in person. Until then, we'll just have to make do with this amazing video sent to us by Rebecca Weiss.
It's like being in a kaleidoscope. The slow-moving aurora floating overhead. It's just stunning.
Another thing that is so wonderful is how many different types of aurora you can find. With the beautiful bright glow of these dancing lights in the interior near Murphy Dome, takes your breath away.
You know how the saying goes, stop and smell the roses. Slow down and see the beauty of life.
Yeah, this is sort of the Alaska version of that. Stop and watch the aurora.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, wow.
Claudia Sawyer sent us this video, and what makes it so wonderful is through this almost 3-minute video, you can just hear the pure joy and amazement in her voice and her laughter.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
That was a great way to end the show. The lights in the sky and a smile on your face.
Well, it is time to end this episode of Picture Alaska, but not before a reminder that we can't do it without you.
Keep sending those photos and videos by going to our website and clicking the Submit Photos and Videos button in the top banner.
Thank you so much for joining us. We can't wait to see what next year brings as we picture Alaska along with all of you.